Okay, welcome to this next lesson, which is going to focus on the selection and placement of the external windows. You can see I've started to place one in the front here, but let's turn our attention back to our floor plan so that we can actually see what we need to place. Alright, so back to our floor plan. And let's concern ourselves with the straightforward windows first, which are going to be the windows in the bedroom. There's one window in the bathroom, and there's a window above the kitchen sink here. The window above the kitchen sink is normally positioned there for hygiene reasons. Light coming through a window helps to dry things out and also to kill germs and so on. That's why you'll generally find a window above the kitchen sink. The window in the bathroom is normally placed up quite high. There's two windows in the bedroom. This larger window here on the left, and then the other window looks to be the same length, but the numbers relate to different heights. So this is like a privacy window that the bed would be behind versus a general window here. The numbers that you see located next to the window once again relate to height and length. So the 12 relates to 1200 millimeters in height. So the first number in this drawing is always the height, so 1200 high, and 18 is 1800 millimeters in length. And they, if you look at them, they are sliding windows. And we'll look over here, of course, it does say something about the windows. It just basically says that they are the joinery, that they have a bronze anodized aluminium, which means that the frames are made from aluminium. We're just going to accept the defaults, and we can change that to something later on. Alright, so let's focus first of all on this single sliding window here. I'll show you how to insert it, and then we'll do this one at the front here, because this is, you can see it's got 4 panes on this one, and the others are only going to have 2 panes on them. Alright, so a 1200 high by 1800 long sliding window placed midway between these two walls. Okay, back to Archicad, and let's go to our window settings, window toolbox, and window settings, and let's find sliding windows. There it is, sliding windows. And from the sliding windows box or selection, we can choose the 2 sash sliding windows. Here we can change its length. Its length was, I think, 1800, and its height was 1200. The box below that, yours might not be defaulted to this, but by clicking on this arrow here and changing the option to header to wall base, relates to the distance from the head of the window to the base of the wall. If you look at the black arrow here, you can see that the black arrow is going from the base of the wall to the head of the window. And the head of the window is basically the top rail here. The same terminology relates to heads of doors as well. So that's 2100, because we know that from our plan here that the joinery height of all of our windows and our doors is the same. You see it says joinery 2100. Okay, back to Archicad. I'm going to leave my insertion point as being the center, not left or right, and then we can get into some other features about this window concerning its its settings. First thing to do is to open up the window settings and openings, and then click onto that box, of course, and then we can just scroll our way through to see whether there's anything that we need to change. So Windows settings and openings, no, that's okay. It does say here that it's a double sliding window, but I think when we insert it, we might only get the one window frame actually sliding, the other one's fixed. We'll soon find out. Frame and sash, no, nothing to change there. Frame widths, look, you know, at the moment they're set to 50. If you wanted to make it appear like a thin aluminium window, I suppose you could make that less. Sash options at the moment, of course, it's just a glass window. I mean, you've got all these options here, you know, different things that you can change. You can, if you choose these ones, you can then edit them and so on, but I'm just going to leave mine at a basic standard type of window. Let's go to the next one. So sash options, natural ventilation's the gap over the top, we don't want that. Opening length, once again, let's not worry too much about it. And of course model attributes, this is where you can change those materials again. Besides that, there's really not much in there that we want to change to make it look like the actual one on the floor plan. Some interesting things, I suppose, if you click on sunshade and if you turn that on, you do have the ability to add shutters and this sort of stuff. But we're not going to worry about that at the moment. So besides setting its height and its length and its height and the head to the wall base, the only other thing to do is just to check the dimension marker. So make sure that you select the one below no marker, basic window, and make sure that you change the height of the text from 2 to 0.8 of a millimeter, and then we can insert that window. So inserting the window, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to try to place this window sort of halfway between these two walls. It's not going to be exact. I'm moving the cursor to the side of the window so that the sun appears on the outside. That's for the reveal. And at this point it's going to ask me for the direction for the sliding window to be on. So I want the slider to be on the inside and I want it to be sliding in that direction, I think, from memory. Let's have a look at the diagram. So yeah, the slider wants to be on the inside and it wants to be sliding above. So let's go back to ArchiCAD. Hopefully it's still in the same mode. Oh, it's jumped out, has it? Oh, I'll try that again. There we go. So click once on the inside and sliding up. And there's the marker gone inside. Let's have a look at that in 3D, of course. And there's the front door. So I'm going to go around the other side, obviously. And you can see here you can actually position windows in 3D as well, but it's probably easier to do it, or more accurate to do it in 2D. Okay, so we do have, in this case, 2 sliders, which isn't quite what we're after. We might have to go back and edit that later on. Okay, let's leave that for now, and let's now go to, actually we might do the back window as well. So back to floor plan, or ground floor. And let's put in this window at the back here. Let's go back to our floor plan. And we can see that it's changed in its dimensions. 0.06 would relate to 600 in height, 1800 long, but the joinery height remains the same. So we'll do this one, and then we'll do one more, and you can do the rest yourself. Okay, so let's change the length was 1800, the height changed to 600. And, excuse me, the head height, though, did not change. It still remained at 2100. You can see it's like a long, skinny window, and the bed head would then fit underneath that window. Everything else remains the same. Click OK. And let's find the wall there, about midway. And I'm not too sure which way this one opens, so I'm just going to go that side there. And that will be fine. Okay, let's now turn our attention. You can do the one in the bathroom, the one in the kitchen, obviously. The one on the front wall here is a little bit different. If we look at our floor plan, you see it's got 4 panes. So we just need to choose a slightly different window to start with. There's a couple of little things to change, not much though. Okay, so back to ArchiCAD. And once again, select the window opening or sliding window options. And you see that we were using the 2 sash sliding window. We now need to change that to be the 4 sash sliding window. When you click onto that, you'll notice that it just doesn't give you a standard 4 sash. It also gives you a 4 sash with a casement above it. So we want to turn that off, and we want to make it the right size. So let's go back and check the size again. The size is 12, so 1200 high by 2400 long. Make sure we get that right. So 2400 in length, 1200 high. Head to wall base remains at 2100. And we need to turn off this casement. Now to do that, open up the special window settings, click on the box here, And now it's a little bit hidden. You've got to scroll up to the top to where it says shape, and where it says upper transom, we change that from type 1 to none. So click on none, and then you'll see that disappear. Check your heights again. Yes, 2400 by 12, 2100, that's all good. Everything else pretty much remains the same. I think we do have some control here also over which window panes are actually opening and closing. Let's have a look. Main sash is sliding, side sashes are fixed, so that means the side one, this one, and this one are fixed, and the two middle ones are sliding, which is actually what we want, so that's fine. And dimension marker, let's check that it's still this, it's also set at 0.8, which it is, which is fine. So we can click OK. And we can position this midway between the door and that end wall with the sunlight on the outside. And I'm not too sure whether this one really matters which way we go, so I'm going to click on that side there. Markers on the outside. Let's have a look at that in 3D. And there it is there. We can see two sliders sliding in that direction. I'll double check that's right, which is correct. See the two arrows there. And of course we can open those to make them appear open as well. So get out of window insertion, go into select by clicking on the arrow. Come up to the corner, select the window, and the little pink marks here. If you grab that, click and hold, and you can then actually open those up normally. Oh, what's it doing to me? Let's try that again. Opening width. Oh, it's not being very nice to me. Maybe I'm clicking on the wrong one perhaps. There we go. I was trying to open it the wrong way. Open that one, click on the other one, open those up. And then we've got something looking realistic. As I've said before, you can go in and change all those materials. Don't worry too much about all that now because we can change that when we get into rendering and also into Atlantis. Okay, so finish off the kitchen window and the bathroom window using that same technique. And then we can focus, I think our next lesson will be on the roof.